WPA.
Cali, baby, what makes you look so good? Oh, Cali, baby, what makes you look so good? Why don't you love me like I know you could?
I think Ocala does love you. I don't know what you're talking about or anything. This is Ocala Magazine Radio. Both of the hosts of Ocala Magazine Radio are here today. John Sotomayor and Kelli Hart. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Morning, Larry.
How do you like the new place, huh?
Oh, it's fantastic. Absolutely.
You know, you look good sitting over there. This is very show busy. You sitting over there.
Yeah, we
You got
look
the
like an
lights
anchor
on
crew.
you. You
I
got
feel
the
it.
you got the window. And you know, this is the time of day when they start to pour in too. So
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not really a
Open up.
mall person. Are you guys mall people?
No, I'm not.
I go every now and then.
I
do like
noticed
to see what's new.
I'm surprised, Kelly, because when women come here, they basically just go, oh, hold on, I got to go over there just for a second. It's like a magnet. It's like, I'm here at the radio. Hold on, can I go over there just for a minute?
I'm not much of a mall person, but I am a people watcher. So this is the best spot in the house for that.
Perfect.
This is
place
good.
for
This
that.
is really good. Yeah,
Absolutely.
and they will wave.
They will.
Yeah,
We've
yeah.
had some
and they
fans
can
already.
and they can hear you, so you can say hi to them.
Oh,
Hi.
this could be great. This could be fun.
So what are you doing today?
Well, as you know, I've been away for a couple of weeks,
Right.
and Kelly's been doing a phenomenal job hosting the show for me. And the reason for it is that I've been traveling. Kelly has too, covering our Florida destinations issue. And
cool.
yeah, we were covering different resorts in the state of Florida, which we wanted to share with our
I can't wait to hear.
readers. Yeah, it's fantastic, Larry. Oh my God. The stories that we could share with you, which we will in the next, 25 minutes or so. I'm reminded of this place right here, the beautiful marble table that we have here,
Right.
the very modern look to it. It kind of reminded me of some of the places we went to.
Really?
Yeah,
Really?
absolutely. Beautiful spaces. Wouldn't you agree, Kelly?
Absolutely. I was in paradise. I didn't want to come home.
So I'll tell you what I'm going to be listening for. I'm going to be listening to what makes for a good place. Is it the people? Is it the accommodations? Is it the food? What makes it a good place?
Well, for me, each one of the resorts we visited had its own unique character, distinct qualities about the place that are the places that you would want to see. It's
Right.
really a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, at least for someone like me, hopefully many more in
Right,
the future.
right.
But, to begin with, the Biltmore was one of the places that I visited, and that one was in Coral Gables.
Okay.
And the beauty of this one is that it's a historic landmark. It was built in 1926, and it is the original structure that they built back then. Other hotels have been longer, but they've either had a fire or something, so other reason to tear it down and build up again.
Wow.
This is its unique structure.
Wow. Does it feel like a 1910 building?
It does. It does. It feels very palatial. When you come in, you feel the grandeur of it. First of all, when you drive up, they have two entrances. One for the incoming guests for the new arrival, almost like an airport.
Wow.
And the lower level for the valet for people who are coming in and out. And they have uniformed bellmen, gracious staff.
Wow.
Impeccable service while you're there. And then you're taken up to your room, and I happen to have a beautiful view of the golf courses that they have out there. So for all the avid golfers out there, it's a beautiful place to play.
Nice.
And I was given a tour of the building. For me, the unique things that I've gotten to visit were the presidential suites. They have two over there.
What's in them?
Oh my God, Larry. They were duplex suites with multiple bedrooms. One of them had panoramic views of the entire area,
Wow.
Coral Gables, because it's in the tower portion of the resort.
Right.
And the history there, I mean, you've had President Clinton sign a document in there. You've had even the notorious Al Capone stay there. It was known as the Al Capone Suite for a while.
Wow.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Wow.
And you can see why they would want to stay there. Off season, it's kind of very high end. On season, it was probably the value of my car to stay there for one
So
night.
if Al Capone and
Wow.
Bill Clinton, that makes it the ACBC room, right?
That's right. Absolutely. And what else could I tell you about the Biltmore? They have a grand swimming pool. It is the largest for any continental U.S. swimming pools for
Wow.
a hotel. And the
Did you go in it?
I did. I tried to swim to the other end, but I couldn't do it nonstop. I had to take
Wow.
a break halfway through. The reason why they built it so large is because they didn't have beach area. So they wanted to mimic an ocean front to attract people
Gotcha.
to the area.
Right,
And the original creators of this facility decided to make this an attraction for the Coral Gables area, which they wanted to make a very high-end community. You know, so they landmarked all the streets and the nearby shopping areas, perfect for, you know, what, like Palm Beach or something like that, Palm Springs or something like that. And nearby was the Miracle Mile, which was an amazing shopping area.
This sounds like a fun assignment that you guys went on.
I'm not complaining.
Well, you know, when John presented this to me, he said, listen, we've got a couple places to go. I can't go all these places alone or by myself. I need you to
said if
take
I
one
must.
or two. I'm like,
Right.
oh, the Ritz, really? Okay, fine. I succumbed to his pressure. So yes, okay, fine.
So when we as consumers see those little the 5-star things like on the internet sites, are they accurate? I mean, are the people like? Can I depend on those things to know if a place is a good place or not?
I can't speak for all that you see on there, but for the ones that we visited, by far, yes. You know,
The general consensus agrees with yours.
I would say so.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, these are not just any run-of-the-mill resorts. These
Right.
are the pinnacle of resort travel. you
Wow.
know. So, I mean, celebrities.
No
that stay
KOAs in there. No.
no campers involved. That would have been a deal breaker.
Yeah, I didn't see that
No
when I
pump
came by there.
tents, no campers. That would have been a no-go.
But the shopping inside there is phenomenal. The restaurants, by far the best. I've had dinner there, and I'm trying not to confuse my places. So the dinner at the Palm Or was phenomenal. It's French cuisine. They gave like a 5-course meal.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's smaller portions, but you know it's very
That's why
filling.
the French are skinny.
That's right.
Oui, oui.
Yes. And you know, just the samplings that you get to try is amazing. And both the Biltmore and the Breakers, which I also stayed at, are both famous for their Sunday brunches. So I was very fortunate to be traveling on the weekends and got to experience both
Nice.
of those. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. So I totally recommend that for anybody traveling. Go on the weekends and take advantage of the Sunday brunches there.
So we get to live vicariously through your visits, right?
Well, we hope that other people will
Yes.
be encouraged to follow us.
That's what
and
yeah,
go there
you would think so,
themselves.
yeah.
They're all close enough that it makes it realistic. You know, just to leave on a Friday and stay through Sunday makes it very realistic. So you
Yes.
can have that be swept away for a little bit of luxury and then come back home.
We live in a destination of the world. And so
Yes.
and we forget that it's right in our own backyard. We think we have to go
Absolutely.
to LA. We think we have to go to Atlanta even.
No.
But it's right here. You're right.
Absolutely. The unique thing about the Breakers, which was in Palm Beach, is they're very close to Worth Avenue, which is the East Coast version of Rodeo Drive. So if you go there, you do feel like you're staying at the Beverly Hills Hotel and,
Really?
and within a walking distance to Rodeo Drive. The most amazing, well-kept streets I've ever seen, high-end shopping, even just to go for a meal. It's just phenomenal.
And was it expensive?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very expensive. What else can I tell you about the Breakers? The Breakers has unique restaurants within. For breakfast, I had breakfast at the Circle, which is a domed room, looks very cathedral-like, very upscale, panoramic views, the best food you can ever try. And their signature restaurant is a new one called HMF. It just opened up last November, and what it is, it's a nod to 1950s chic, where inspired by the TV show Mad Men, they have all the staff kind of dress up very 50s with the hair and the makeup and the clothing, and they know their drinks and their food impeccably. They can just tell you exactly what complements what exactly,
wow.
because you eat in a tapas style, so you can order different smaller plates and share them with your guests. And the room you're in is dimly lit, very posh looking, tranquil music in the background. Just very, very amazing.
So I could ask him, what would you recommend that goes with this hamburger? What kind of drink? Maybe some Coke?
Exactly. What about you, Kelly? What was your experience like?
Well, I was able to go to the Ritz-Carlton, which was in Sarasota, Florida. And from the moment that we arrived, now keep in mind, when I made my reservation, I wanted to test out not only was it adult friendly, but child friendly.
Yes, right.
So I took a girlfriend who has a 6-year-old. I have a 6-year-old. And they asked me a lot of information in making the reservation. And when we got there, we were greeted by name. Oh, you must be Lily, and you must be
nice.
Estelle. And they were just like, how do you know that? Thinking, this is really great customer service.
That's
They've
right.
already won the hearts of our
Something as
children.
little as that, right? Yeah.
Yes, and so we were whisked away to the club level, where literally, minus a red carpet, we felt like we were
Well,
celebrities.
that is cool.
Yes, it was phenomenal.
So did you fill out something in advance so that they knew the names and everything?
They just asked me. They just asked me who I was and who my adult guest was going to be, and I told them we had children, and they asked us a little bit about the girls and what they liked to do. The beauty of the Ritz-Carlton is they have an area called the Ritz Kids Club, and you can go and check them in. It's a very secure process, and everybody, a part of the staff, is CPR certified, background screened, and all of those great things that moms
Very important.
care for.
Dads too, by the way.
Yeah, and dads,
Yeah,
yes.
right.
So you're able to check them in, and they keep them occupied from swimming, seashell hunts. They had an obstacle course for kids, so that we could then go and indulge in all of the adult activities,
Yeah, right.
which included the spa treatments, which I don't know if John was able to do any spa treatments on his trips. But we came back polished and pampered. I mean, it was phenomenal. They took great care of us there.
See, I could do without the spa treatment. I'll go down to the pool. That'll be fine. I'll try to do the lap thing you tried to do.
Yeah. Well, you say that now, but when you experience it yourself, you'll see.
Yeah, it was phenomenal. I mean, the resort itself, I mean, everything was just fine detail. And we were able, like John, the night that we got there, the girls went to the kids club and were doing some activities. And so we got to go to Jack Dusty's, which is their signature restaurant, and indulge in everything from, we had caviar brought to us, different signature drinks,
Right.
some of the desserts that they offer are very signature. What I liked about that particular restaurant was it's based on this kind of nautical but industrial theme. And for example, the bread came out in a metal tin.
Really?
So a lot of the things that they bring to you are recycled items, even down to the stemware. It's
Huh.
old wine bottles that they've made glasses out of. So they put a lot of thought into it. But in fact, I searched for the last 3 or 4 days. I was going to have some caviar this morning so we could all try it just to keep the theme. Sadly, you have to go to the Ritz-Carlton because Ocala simply does not
We don't
have.
have caviar.
No.
I've never had caviar.
Although I did hear, someone said, oh, Publix has it. But I mean, I wanted to bring you guys what I was able to experience.
Have you ever had it before?
No, I had never had it.
And did you like it?
It's phenomenal. Yes,
Yes.
it's
John, yeah.
phenomenal.
I've had caviar before, and I've had it again in all 3 of the resorts that I was at, and it's amazing. The Sunday brunch at the Biltmore, I believe it was, they had a section there. They had it like a Mediterranean-style courtyard, and every corner was filled with a buffet-style table, including seafood. And the caviar section, they had a section of caviar,
my God.
had different types of caviar you can sample, plus different toppings. So the way you would try different toppings on, say, a pizza or anything,
Right.
you can try different toppings on your caviar.
Wow.
And the expert there would tell you what complements it best.
a resort and a culinary kind of a tour that you guys went on.
Absolutely.
They definitely please
I mean,
everything.
food was a big part of it, sounds like.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they want to make sure that your palate is pleased, that you're comfortable, taken care of. We didn't lift a finger. The club level offers you food all throughout, around the day, champagne throughout the day.
So what takes a hotel and elevates it to a resort? What is the difference, like a nice hotel versus a nice resort?
Well, it's definitely the accommodations and the amenities that they have there. Everything is to the deluxe standard,
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, be it the golf course or the swimming pools, which, by the way, when I stayed at the Breakers, they offered me a bungalow to go along with the suite. So for a day, I had my own bungalow, which was a little living room with a kitchenette
Nice.
a shower area. You can have room service brought right to that area, so you never have to leave the swimming pool. You can be there all day, and that again is really great for
Is it
families.
air conditioned?
It's air conditioned.
Wow.
It has its own little entranceway with plants, so you have some privacy. And again, everything's to make your stay very comfortable, relaxed.
Absolutely.
Everything done there is for that purpose.
The same accommodations and comfort from within the building are brought outside. So when you're inside, like we were in a cabana, like you were, and the food was right at our fingertips, the drinks. We had someone who was specifically assigned to wait on us, bring us towels, bring the girls drinks. It was just phenomenal the way that we were treated, like VIP. It was
Like a being on a cruise, better than a cruise.
The idea is like a cruise ship, which is every service is available to you, and if something is not to your liking, they'll adjust for you. I mean, it is very accommodating.
Absolutely.
And there's one resort we haven't talked about yet. I also got a chance to stay at a Ritz-Carlton. This one was in Amelia Island.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah, many people have been to Amelia Island. I highly recommend staying at a resort there. The accommodations, again, top notch. We talked about food. They have one of the most specialized foods I've ever had, and I've traveled all over the world. Rio, China, Europe, everywhere, and I've never had this. They have a restaurant there called Salt, which the chef had kind of incorporated all these different food items that go with the theme Salt, which is not only the name of the restaurant, but an element of the resort.
Okay.
And they brought out a block of salt, about a tray size.
Really?
Yeah, that was 250 million years old from the Himalayas.
Wow.
Himalayan salt. They heat up the block so that it serves like its own little oven. And they take a little paper on there and they put 2 quail eggs in a little frying pan and meat, and if you wish, also lobster. And the chef prepares it to a certain level, but then you can sear it yourself, removing it from the paper and putting it directly on the salt block, and heating it yourself and cooking it yourself. And it's amazing.
So this is a dumb question, but does it salt the eggs?
Yes, it does.
It does? So you don't have to put more salt on it?
Right.
Really?
That's
Yeah.
great.
So 250 million years this thing's being created, and now we're taking one little bite out of it at a time.
And we're using it as a little stove. That's what it was
That
called
is
for.
very cool.
Yeah, and I mean, where else can you say that you've had that kind of experience? And that, again, is
Wow.
also what these resorts are about.
So how was the quail egg?
Quail eggs were delicious.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
little tiny little eggs.
Bigger than caviar.
Bigger than And, again, it's all about the experience. So they want to provide you something that you will not experience anywhere else. Again, each one has their own character, their own uniqueness that defines them for who they are. And each one...
That's got to be the challenge if you are the manager or the designer of one of these resorts, is to try to come up with that one thing that makes yours different from everybody else.
Yes. Well, I thought about that myself and thought about what kind of training or standards are each of these places putting into effect, because this isn't just your run-of-the-mill staff. Everybody there is held to some kind of standard. I mean, you can tell. It doesn't matter if you're, the pool cabana guy or
Right,
you're concierge. Every single person there was dressed a certain way, groomed a certain way, they spoke a certain way. It was Mrs. Hart this, and the entire trip, you got that same quality and that same level of customer service from everybody.
Absolutely, I agree with Kelly. And for even more, both the Breakers and the Biltmore, every staff was familiar with the history of the hotels, of the resorts, so they can answer any questions that you have of them. And also, every leader that I've met in every department has been on staff there for more than 15 years. They had
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. That says a lot for maintaining
To be able to keep somebody. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
And at the Breakers, they had a specialized club called the Flagler Club, named after its founder, Mr. Flagler. And if it wasn't elite enough, you had even more special services, VIP service for a unique clientele. And I was allowed access in there. And it was affectionately known also as the Bernard room. Bernard is the concierge who's been in service there for 35
Wow.
years. 35 years.
Wow.
And he's originally from France, and so speaks French impeccably, and they boast 50 languages spoken fluently on the staff
Wow.
over there. So,
Really?
Yeah. So anywhere you
I
come
can't
from
even
the
think
world,
of 50 languages.
I know.
Absolutely, but they can speak them.
Wow.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow. So the magazine that all of these resorts are in is the new one,
Yes.
the new
It-
Ocala magazine.
Yes.
It is our August issue, which is our Florida Destinations issue, and in there we have the beautiful church from Citra on the cover.
Uh-huh.
Many
Oh,
people,
okay.
yeah, many people were wondering which church this was and where it was. It's in Citra,
Beautiful.
First Baptist, and we have a photo essay in there for our local churches, which we covered in there, and then for the Florida Destinations, we've covered these 4 resorts.
Okay, and will you go back to the resorts at all?
I would love to go to some of the ones that John visited
Oh,
so that I
okay.
can do the comparison. But I would definitely go back to the Ritz-Carlton. If I had one weekend that I wanted to maximize my dollar and get the most luxury and treatment and relaxation and amenities, absolutely.
So do we have
Without a doubt.
anything in Ocala that is that caliber? And I'm not trying to cut anybody down, but we have a beautiful Hilton. We've got a
Yes.
beautiful what's the
Holiday Inn.
Holiday Inn across, just about across the street from the Hilton.
Yes.
But they're not considered resorts, right?
They are not considered resorts, I think, because of the acreage that they have
Right.
there. All of these resorts that we went to had at least 400 acres of property that included their own golf resorts,
Right, right.
various swimming pools. I mean, I think it was the Breakers itself had anywhere from 5 to 9 swimming pools that you can select from. So I think it has to do with the size and the level of things that they can add on there.
Kelly, I have a question about the one that you said was family friendly.
Yes.
Was there an activities department just for children, or an activities director, or was?
Yes, there was. And like I said, the Ritz Kids Club was its own specific portion of one of the floors of the resort, and it had every game and toy and a whole dress-up area. I mean, it was a magnificent playroom for girls, boys of those specific ages.
Oh, wow.
They brought the food directly up to the kids if it was, a lunch or dinner or breakfast time of the day. So everything was there, although they did take them off location, down to the pool. They have a beach resort that you can jump on a trolley. It takes you directly over to the beach resort, so you're able to actually use both facilities. Which has a little bit more casual dining there and can be a little bit more family friendly.
Wow,
Like, I didn't see any of the fun noodles over at the actual Ritz-Carlton pool,
Right,
but when we
right,
visited the beach resort, that's where more of the families and the kids
Wow.
and more splashing was happening. So, yeah, absolutely.
And I wanted to add that every single one of these resorts had something available for families and kids. The Ritz-Carlton Amelia Island also had the Ritz Kids
Right,
program, of course. But the Breakers offered a family entertainment center, which was 6,160 square feet, and included everything from entertainment and games to an arcade, a toddler playroom, arts and crafts, a children's theater. And they also had staff specific for helping out families, so that, if you needed service with your child and you needed to step away, then somebody would be able to take care of it.
I had a tiny brush with that experience. Here, let me explain. Robin and I, if you don't already know, we've done children's music for years. We sort of kind of stopped doing it, but we got a call one day when we were at WOCA, panicked. It was Cape Caribe in Cape Canaveral. It's a resort in Cape Canaveral called Cape Caribe. They had a flood in their children's play area, what you were just describing. They said, we got nothing for the kids. Can you come down and put on a show for a couple hours while we get the flood cleaned up? So sure, we got in the car, we drove down there. And I guess the resort, from our experience, was just to see this beautiful place with this unbelievable playroom. But of course, in our case, there was like a half a foot of water in it or something.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, that just speaks volumes for that particular resort, because they could have just as easily hung up a sign that said, flooded, there will
Sorry,
be
we're
no
closed.
kids activities.
Yeah.
But they didn't do that. They reached out, they found some resources, and they made it happen.
I thought they should have given the kids snorkels, is what I thought.
Yeah, why not make it a splash pad?
So maybe I missed this. Were any of these on the beach?
Yes, the Breakers is actually very unique in that it is right off the water. And I had an ocean front view, second floor. As soon as I looked out the window, as I look at this window here at the
Right.
radio station, all I saw was ocean. And I went up to the edge and I looked down, and the water was splashing against the
Oh,
rocks
wow.
below.
Right up to it.
So they're unique in that sense that no other...
Perfect name for that.
Exactly. No other resort offers that. Right off the water. And it's said that when guests come, if they come after a certain hour and it's kind of nighttime, when they wake up in the morning, they actually feel like they're on a ship. when they wake up in the morning, because all you feel is like the water.
I bet. Yeah, that
it's
is
pretty
cool.
amazing. And of course, the Amelia Island one is off the water too. They have a beachfront out there where they have sea turtles. It's sea turtle season right now, so in the sand dunes, a lot of people look for
So
nature.
I got to get
and
out
stuff.
more often. I just don't get out. See, we were so looking forward to getting out of that other studio. And now we're just in another one.
But you do have an amazing view here.
Oh,
You do.
wait till you see it later on. It becomes even more amazing.
Yeah.
I bet around lunchtime it's chaos.
Yeah, we got some sound effects just for the people. Just for some.
Amazing.
Hi there.
There you go.
Oh, and
Wow.
there it
Lots of
begins.
favors, yes.
Nah, he's trying to say you're talking to it. Talk, 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 talk.
I also wanted to give thanks to all the people who helped us with these resorts. At the Breakers, I wanted to thank Bonnie Rubin and Cherie, I'm going to butcher this last name, Montagna. Both were very helpful in getting accommodations for the Breakers. At the Biltmore, I would really love to thank Raleigh Ewing. She's been very instrumental in helping us out. And then at Amelia Island, I had Joe, and unfortunately, I cannot recall Joe's last name. I'll say it next week.
So
Kelly,
the-
you had somebody too? Or?
I worked with one of the assistants there named Mitzi, who was very helpful in executing all of the different activities and getting us very organized. But the staff is so it's so large.
It brings me to another question I wish I thought of, but you just reminded me. If somebody's listening and said, I want to do this, do you call the resort or do you go to a travel agent? What's the best way to get started with an experience like this?
I think it varies. I think what works for you is something that you should go with. We had a unique experience, of course, because we were there to cover the story. So we worked directly with their marketing department. So we had an unusual experience. But I would say you can call the resort directly, and they would be accommodating to your needs. If you have someone you regularly work with, then I'm sure they'll be able to help you as well.
Right. I've made reservations now at both types of the spectrum. And it's not just a what's your name, how many guests, smoking or non situation. They ask you everything from your allergies, accommodations, if you're allergic to down feathers. So I think calling directly and having them ask you and get your specific information will help tailor your weekend. So I would recommend calling directly.
And the report that you're both giving us is that our tourism industry is doing its job, which helps all of us. I mean, if we're attracting people who want that caliber of an experience, then they're helping us indirectly, right?
We're hoping that more people from Ocala will go to the other parts of the state and let them know what's going on here and vice versa, so that people will come and visit Ocala as well.
Take a copy of the magazine. It'll help.
Exactly. That's what we do.
Yes. And my final suggestion is for anyone listening, please open a caviar cart somewhere. Please serve caviar somewhere in Ocala.
What does it taste like? Salty, sweet? What is it?
It's really an indescribable. Usually people say it tastes like chicken, but it definitely does not.
It is salty.
This is not a taste like chicken.
It's definitely seafood. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, but it's delicious.
You guys are great.
Thank you.
Do a great show always. It's good to see the two of you together.
Thanks. It was fun.
I like it.
Thank you for doing this.
Thank you, Larry.
Fun show.
Thank you.
We will take a little break. Be right back.
This California women is mighty fine, and the New York girls blow your mind.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA.
Ocala.
ABC News Now. I'm Karen Chase. Large crowds in Cairo have been mostly peaceful as protesters answer a Muslim Brotherhood call for a day of rage against recent deadly violence. The UN has called on both sides to exercise maximum restraint. Kidnapped California teenager Hannah Anderson didn't speak to reporters clamoring for comments as she arrived at a suburban San Diego fundraiser, but her father says she sends her love to well-wishers and is doing better every day. It was her first public appearance since being rescued in Idaho. Fire crews are gaining the upper hand in a wildfire near Park City, Utah, that's destroyed 7 homes and forced the evacuation of hundreds more. Fire officials have lifted some evacuation orders, but won't say when all will be lifted. Federal investigators say there's no evidence of mechanical failure in the crash of that UPS cargo plane in Birmingham, Alabama. The plane's black boxes are now being analyzed. A dorm shortage isn't such a bad thing for some students at Capital University in Columbus, Ohio. They're making a splash at temporary housing in a nearby water park. This is ABC News.
Never played poker with a guy named Lucky.